All right, you bastards, ready to get your minds blown.
Lay it on me.
Today, we're diving deep into the belly of the beast, the Chinese Communist Party,
Ah, yes.
the CCP.
These guys are a bigger deal than a goddamn Kardashian at a plastic surgeons convention. Seriously, they've got their fingers in every pie imaginable.
True, their influence is undeniable.
So let's cut the crap and unpack just how the CCP became the ultimate power players, all right? We're going straight to the source, their Wikipedia page.
It's a surprisingly good starting point, full of juicy details and all that.
All right, let's kick things off with a history lesson. And I'm talking some seriously wild shit.
Oh, yeah.
Revolutions, wars, famines, purges. These guys make the Borgias look like a fucking kindergarten playgroup.
Well, if you want to understand how they operate today, you got to go back to their roots.
Okay, take us back.
So picture this. 1921, a small group of intellectuals huddled in some dingy basement plotting a revolution.
Ah, the good old days of dreaming of world domination. Who are these guys? Think Chen Duxiu, Li Dazhao, inspired by those Russian revolutionaries, the Bolsheviks.
So a bunch of bookish types with a taste for chaos.
Pretty much. But their alliance with the Kuomintang, another political party, went south faster than a spring break trip to Cancun.
What happened?
Chiang Kai-shek, the KMT leader, decided he'd had enough of the commies and launched a brutal purge in 1927. Wiped out thousands of them.
Talk about a fucking messy divorce.
Yeah, it nearly destroyed the CCP. They were forced to flee to the countryside, lick their wounds and build up their strength through guerrilla warfare.
From revolutionaries to rebels, huh?
Exactly. And that's where Mao Zedong, the big man himself, steps onto the scene.
Mao Zedong, the guy whose face is plastered all over China.
The one and only. He leads them on the legendary Long March.
The Long March. Sounds like a pub crawl gone wrong.
More like a desperate fight for survival. Imagine trekking over 9,000 kilometers, battling hunger, disease, and the damn KMT.
Fucking brutal.
Thousands died. But it forged the CCP into this hardcore, battle-tested force.
Trial by fire, eh?
You could say that. And they gained a lot of support along the way. Promising the peasants land reform, a better life, all that jazz.
Smart move.
Then, when Japan invaded during World War II, they played their cards right.
How so?
While the KMT was mostly twiddling their thumbs, the CCP fought the Japanese, earned them major street cred with the people.
Opportunistic bastards. But hey, it worked, right?
Well, it did. After the war, they were in prime position to kick the KMT's ass in the Civil War.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yep. 1949, bam, the People's Republic of China is born.
Meow at the helm, of course.
From a handful of nerds in a basement to rulers of the most populous country on earth, that's quite the glow-up.
It is.
But here's the thing that's always baffled me. What the hell did these guys actually believe?
Well,
They call themselves communists, but they're making deals with capitalists, letting billionaires join their club. It's like a goddamn ideological buffet, picking and choosing what suits them. You've hit the nail on the head. Over time, they've adapted their ideology. They call it socialism with Chinese characteristics.
sounds like some bullshit marketing jargon to me.
Maybe, but it's their way of saying they've moved on from pure Marxism-Leninism and Mao Zedong thought.
So they're communists, but not really.
They're embracing a market economy, while of course maintaining strict political control.
So they want to have their cake and eat it too, huh?
Pretty much. They argue that China is still in the quote-unquote primary stage of socialism.
Okay.
Meaning they need to use these capitalist methods to eventually build a true communist society.
Sounds a bit far-fetched if you ask me.
Well, they've come up with some interesting theories to justify it. Ever heard of the three represents?
Does that say that I have?
It literally allows capitalists to join the Communist Party.
What the fuck? That's mental gymnastics on another level.
Exactly. They're playing the long game, and they're not afraid to bend the rules. They even study other political systems.
Serious?
Oh yeah, both democratic and authoritarian. They want to figure out how to stay on top.
Sneaky bastards.
Yeah.
But effective, I guess. Okay, let's cut to the chase. How do these motherfuckers actually run the show?
It all boils down to one thing: control. Their system is called democratic centralism.
Democratic bullshit. They lock up anyone who disagrees with them.
True, but the idea, at least on paper, is to have discussions within the party before making a decision. Once that decision is made, though, everyone falls in line.
So it's like a hive mind with a very strict queen bee.
A very apt analogy.
And who's the queen bee these days?
That would be Xi Jinping, the general secretary.
Ah, Xi Jinping, the man, the myth, the legend.
He holds all the cards, party leader, head of the military, president of the country.
The trifecta of power. This guy sounds like he needs a bigger crown.
He's definitely consolidated power in a way we haven't seen since Mao, actually. But there's a whole structure in place to keep the machine running smoothly.
All right, break it down for us. Who are the key players in this communist Game of Thrones?
Well, at the top, you've got the National Congress. It's a massive gathering of party representatives. They meet every 5 years.
Sounds like a snooze fest.
It's supposed to be the highest authority, but in reality, it just rubber stamps decisions made by smaller, more powerful groups.
Figures. So who are these shadowy figures?
Then you've got the Central Committee, elected by the National Congress. They meet annually to discuss policies and elect the Politburo. That's where the real power lies.
Okay, it's starting to sound more like a gangster film now. Who are these Politburo bad boys?
Think of them as the inner circle, the top dogs making the big decisions.
All right, I'm intrigued.
But even within the Politburo, there's an even more elite group. The Standing Committee. These are the ultimate power brokers.
So it was like a pyramid scheme of power, with Xi Jinping sitting at the very top, pulling all the strings.
Precisely.
And what happens if you piss off the big guy?
Let's just say you don't want to experience shuangui, their disciplinary process.
Shuangui. What the hell is that?
Think forced confessions, isolation, and some creative persuasion tactics.
Fuck, this is getting darker than a Tarantino film. We definitely need a drink after this. But hold on a sec. It can't just be the party itself running this whole goddamn country, can it?
You're right. It's far more pervasive than that.
Good, because I'm starting to feel like I need to sweep my apartment for listening devices.
They have their fingers in every pie imaginable. Seriously.
All right, lay it on me. I'm all ears.
So first you've got the United Front Work Department. It's basically their propaganda and manipulation arm.
Sounds about right.
They manage and influence groups both inside and outside of China, shaping opinions and pushing their agenda.
Sneaky bastards. And what about the kids? Are they brainwashing them from birth, too?
Of course. You've got the Youth League and the Young Pioneers.
So like the Hitler Youth, but with more dumplings.
Charming. But it doesn't stop there. They also have CCP committees embedded in companies.
Wait, you mean businesses?
Both state-owned and private.
So they're telling businesses what to do.
Essentially, yes. These committees have a lot of sway over decision-making. It ensures party control over the economy. Even private companies are being pressured to give the CCP a bigger role.
It's like the party is this giant octopus, its tentacles wrapped around every aspect of Chinese life.
A pretty apt analogy, I'd say.
Okay, so with all this control and power, who the fuck actually wants to be a member of this club?
Well, it's not like you just sign up and get a membership card. It's a rigorous selection process.
Yeah, they'd probably make you drink pig's blood and swear allegiance to Xi Jinping on a stack of Mao's Little Red books.
Not quite that extreme, but it's intense. Think recommendations, interviews, background checks, even a probationary period.
So, like, joining the Illuminati, but with way more paperwork?
Something like that.
But why go through all that hassle? What's the payoff? Free rice for life.
Think bigger. Wage premiums, better health care, preferential treatment when it comes to promotions. It's like winning a golden ticket in this system.
Ah, so it's all about climbing the greasy pole of success.
You got it. The CCP used to be dominated by blue-collar workers, but now you've got white-collar professionals, entrepreneurs, even billionaires clamoring to join.
So it's become the ultimate networking club for ambitious assholes.
Yeah.
But membership comes with a price, right?
Absolutely. You're expected to toe the party line, show unwavering loyalty, and keep your mouth shut if you have any doubts.
Dissent is not on the menu in communist China.
You could say that again.
Right. We've peeled back the layers of the CCP.
Yeah.
Their rise to power, their flexible ideology, their iron grip on society, and the perks and perils of membership. This has been a wild ride, and frankly, I need another drink.
We've only just scratched the surface, really.
Damn right. This shit is only going to get wilder from here.
So before we got sidetracked by all that talk about joining the CCP, you were asking about the perks, right? All the benefits of being a loyal little commie.
Yeah, like that whole healthcare thing. Is it true what they say?
Yeah.
Do these bastards have some secret stash of magical herbs or some shit?
Not quite magical herbs, but you're not far off. High-ranking party officials. They've got access to this whole special healthcare system. Top-notch doctors, private hospitals, the whole 9 yards.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah. While the average Joe is struggling to afford a damn checkup, these party elites are living the high life. Champagne and caviar while they wait for their Botox injections.
Fuck, that's messed up. It's like a goddamn feudal society, where the lords are living in luxury and the peasants are stuck with scraps.
The analogy's not perfect, but you're not wrong. The CCP. They've built this system that benefits their members, especially those at the top, and somehow they've convinced millions that this is the path to national greatness.
Brainwashing, plain and simple. But hey, it seems to be working for them. China's economy is booming, they're throwing their weight around globally, and no one seems to be able to stop them.
True. They've adapted to the modern world in a way that other communist regimes could only dream of. They've embraced capitalism, but they haven't loosened their grip on political power, and they're selling this model as the alternative to Western democracy.
It's like they Frankenstein an ideology. Part communist, part capitalist, all fucking terrifying. But surely not everyone's buying this bullshit.
Of course not. There are plenty of critics, both inside and outside of China.
Thank God for that.
Some believe that the CCP's focus on economic growth has come at a steep cost. Human rights, environmental protection, democratic values, all thrown out the window.
Makes sense.
And others, they're worried that the CCP's growing power is a threat to global stability.
So this isn't just some internal Chinese problem. The whole world should be keeping an eye on these sneaky bastards.
Absolutely. What they do has global implications, and their ambitions. They reach far beyond their own borders. They're pouring money into their military, expanding their influence in Africa, Asia, Latin America. They're even challenging the United States for economic and technological dominance.
It's like a game of Risk, but with real fucking consequences. Speaking of Risk, what about their relationship with other communist parties? Are they still buddy-buddy with the commies in Cuba, North Korea, and Vietnam? Or have they ditched their old pals now that they're rolling in dough?
They've maintained those relationships, but it's complicated. They still attend those international communist conferences, but they also know the communist brand has taken a hit.
Yeah, who the hell wants to be associated with gulags, breadlines, and all that crap?
Exactly. So the CCP is being very selective about which communist parties they get close to.
Yeah.
They're particularly interested in the Vietnamese Communist Party.
Why them?
They've implemented economic reforms without losing their grip on power.
So Vietnam is like the teacher's pet of the communist world.
In a way, yeah. They've shown that economic growth and political control can coexist, which, as you know, is exactly what the CCP is aiming for.
And what about those other communist basket cases? Cuba and North Korea. Are they still swapping revolutionary stories over tea and crumpets?
They maintain formal relations, but it's more out of obligation than genuine friendship.
Yeah, I bet they're not too thrilled about the CCP making deals with capitalists and turning China into a manufacturing giant, all while they're stuck in their socialist time warps. It's like showing up to your high school reunion and finding out your old buddy became a billionaire while you're still flipping burgers.
A rather colorful analogy, but you've got the point. The economic disparity between China and those other communist countries is causing tension, especially with North Korea. They depend on Chinese aid, but they also see the CCP's embrace of capitalism as a betrayal.
The irony is delicious. The CCP, once the poster child for communist purity, is now being accused of selling out by its more hardcore comrades.
It shows you how pragmatic the CCP is, and their willingness to adapt. They're not bound by dogma, they're driven by power and influence, and they'll use any means necessary to achieve their goals.
So opportunistic as fuck. But they're not just interested in communist allies, are they? They've been making friends with some pretty shady regimes around the world.
You're right. They've been building relationships with non-communist parties, particularly in developing countries.
What's their angle?
They offer aid, investment, diplomatic support in exchange for resources, markets, and political leverage.
Sounds like a global protection racket. Nice little country you got here. Shame if something happened to it.
Their motives are complex, but it's clear they see these relationships as a way to expand their power and undermine Western influence.
So they're playing the long game, building their network of allies and collaborators.
Yeah.
It's like a goddamn chess match.
Yeah.
And they're thinking 10 moves ahead.
And they're learning from their mistakes, studying the collapse of the Soviet Union and other communist regimes to avoid making the same errors.
So on top of being ruthless dictators, they're also history buffs.
They're students of history, that's for sure. Determined to avoid the fate of their fallen comrades. They've seen what happens when a communist regime loses control, and they're doing everything in their power to stay on top.
But they can't control everything, can they? There've got to be cracks in their armor, people who are pissed off with the CCP's bullshit.
Of course, there are dissenting voices, but they're often silenced quickly and effectively. The CCP has a vast surveillance apparatus in place. They monitor citizens' online activity, censor information, and crush any sign of organized opposition.
Like a digital version of the Stasi.
They've taken a page from the East German playbook, but with a 21st century twist. Facial recognition technology, artificial intelligence, social credit systems. They're building a dystopian panopticon where every move is tracked and analyzed.
This shit's getting a little too real for me. I need another drink.
Perhaps we should continue this deep dive after a short break.
You read my mind. Okay, so before we had to refill our glasses, we were talking about how the CCP silences anyone who even thinks about questioning their bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like one of those whack-a-mole games, but instead of moles, it's dissidents getting smacked down.
It's a seriously impressive system of control.
Yeah.
Terrifying, but impressive.
Yeah, no kidding.
We already talked about the great firewall blocking websites they don't like.
Right. Yeah.
Then there are those armies of censors scrubbing social media, making sure there's no anti-CCP sentiment. And don't forget the facial recognition tech.
Yeah, that shit's straight out of a sci-fi film.
They can identify you even if you're wearing a mask.
So Big Brother is watching.
Hmm?
And he's brought his whole damn family. But what about this social credit thing? You mentioned that before.
Or yeah, the social credit system.
What is that exactly? Like getting brownie points for being a good little communist.
Kinda, yeah. It's like a giant scorecard they keep for every citizen. They track your behavior and assign points based on how well you follow the party line.
Seriously?
Oh yeah, donate to a party-approved charity. Boom, points. Praise the government online. More points. Criticize the party. Oh, you better believe that's a point deduction. Jaywalking, points off.
It's like some fucked up video game.
Mm,
But the stakes are way higher than just losing a few lives.
exactly.
What happens when you're in the negative? Did they send you to a re-education camp or something?
Not necessarily, but a low social credit score. It can screw up your life, big time. It can affect travel, getting loans, even finding a job.
Damn.
It's a pretty clever way to keep people in line. Rewards for being a good little sheep and punishment for stepping out of line.
So basically, you either play by the rules or get fucked.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The message is clear. The CCP has built a system that rewards loyalty and crushes dissent. And they're masters at using propaganda, surveillance, and social control to maintain their grip on power.
Well, there you have it, folks. We've journeyed through the twisted history of the CCP, their mind-bending ideology, their shadowy power structure, their global ambitions, and their Orwellian control tactics. It's been a wild fucking ride, and I don't know about you, but I need another drink.
It's definitely been an eye-opening deep dive, to say the least.
Yeah, a stark reminder that the world can be a pretty dark and dangerous place. But hey, at least we're informed, right?
Knowledge is power, as they say.
Right now, I'm feeling more like knowledge is a fucking burden. But hey, maybe that's what the CCP wants.
Yeah.
To make us feel powerless and insignificant next to their mighty communist machine.
Perhaps. Or maybe they just want to be left alone to pursue their agenda.
Yeah, right. Like a wolf wants to be left alone in a sheep pen. We need to keep exposing their shady tactics, call out their human rights abuses.
Holding them accountable is crucial, especially as their global influence keeps growing.
Damn right. The future might depend on whether we can stop these sneaky bastards from achieving their ultimate goal, world domination.
Well, that's a topic for another deep dive, maybe after we've recovered from this one.
All right, you beautiful bastards. That's it for our deep dive into the Chinese Communist Party. We've explored their rise, their ideology, their control mechanisms, and their global ambitions. Remember, knowledge is power, and understanding the CCP is more important now than ever. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the wild, weird, and often fucked up corners of our planet.
Cheers.